Against a black background, smoke rises. Community idea stations, WCVE. Ink spots, and the Quill Theater logo. A clouded moon rises above Hamlet, directed by Dr. Jan Powell. Smoke blows it away. Half a face, starring Molly Hood. Half a skull. Other cast members listed. Fading in and out. Fade to black. Hopefully your smile grimaces. Claudius and Polonius hide. Ophelia looks around and rushes out.
Who's there?
Hamlet enters alone,
Who
bathed
is
in
there?
blue light.
Hands to this ground.
And liegeman to the Dane.
What, is Horatio
Claudius
there?
and Polonius, visible
Welcome,
as shadows.
Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy.
Oh, tush, tush, it will not appear.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears, which is so fortified against our story, what we have two nights seen.
Bernardo, speak.
'Twas last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made its course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns. Marcellus and myself, the belled and beating one.
Peace! Break me off! Look where it comes again!
In the same figure like the king that's dead.
Most like, it harrows me with fear and wonder.
Speak to it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak! Speak! I charge thee! Speak!
'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? What think you on it?
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself, such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. 'Tis strange.
Just twice before hath he gone by our watch.
This bodes some strange eruption to our state. But soft, behold, lo, where it comes again. I'll cross it though it blast me. Stay, illusion! Speak to me! If there be any good thing to be done that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh speak, speak of it, stay and speak! Stop it, Marcellus! Will not stand!
'Tis here!
'Tis here!
It is gone!
We do it wrong to offer violence.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And it started like a guilty thing, but look! The morn, in russet mantle clad, walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and upon my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life the spirit dumb to us will speak to her.
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find her most convenient.
Lights bright as the court enters. Servants, Polonius and family, Queen Gertrude and King Claudius. He's newly crowned. They both wear sashes, waving to the crowd. Claudius speaks first. Hamlet skulks in the audience.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere, with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife.
He takes her hands, shows her to the throne.
Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which are freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks.
Claudius sits on throne.
And now, what's the news with you, Laertes? You told us of some suit. What is't? The hand is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence so willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess that duty done, and my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laborsome petition, and at last upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will.
Laertes bows, pumps his fist.
And now, my cousin Hamlet and my child.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected haviour of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passes show these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some turn to do obsequious sorrow. But to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of nature most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified or mind unschooled, an understanding simple and unskilled. For what we know must be. So throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note.
Hamlet laughs.
You are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart toward you.
Hamlet can't look at Gertrude or Claudius. Wipes eyes.
For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us, go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the kings rouse, the heavens shall bruit again, respeaking earthly thunder. Come away!
Claudius and Gertrude exit. Court follows them. Ophelia takes a long look at Hamlet. Laertes pulls Ophelia away, glares at Hamlet. Hamlet nods. Hamlet, alone, strides across the room.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, must I remember? Why, she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet within a month, let me not think on't. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married, oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your highness.
I am glad to see you well.
Hamlet sits back turned.
Parade Horatio! I did forget myself!
The same, Hamlet, your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend! I'll change that name with you. But what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio?
A truant disposition.
Oh, good, my lord. I would not hear your enemies say so. I know you are no truant, Horatio. We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
Hamlet, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my friend, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, Hamlet?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all.
Sits on throne.
I shall not look upon his like again.
Lady, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
The king, your father.
The king, my father.
Cease in your admiration for a while, with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of the nightly watch this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights now, Marcellus here, in the dead waste in middle of the night, has been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, appears before her. Capape goes slow and stately by. Thrice he walked by their fear, surprised eyes, whilst they, distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to it. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, whereas they had delivered, both in time, the form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
Highness upon the platform where we walk.
Did you not speak to it?
Yes, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once it lifted up its head, and did address itself to motion like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and it shrunk in haste away, and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored friend, 'tis true.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight.
We do, milady.
I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it will.
I'll speak to it. Though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace, I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. I will requite your loves. So fare you well. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
Your loves is mine to you. Farewell.
Horatio, Bernardo, Marcellus exit.
My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. Would the night were come. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth o'erwhelm them to men's eyes.
Hamlet runs off separately.
The necessaries are embarked. And sister, do let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
Ophelia and Laertes hug.
The trifling of her favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood. Forward, not permanent. Sweet, not lasting. No more.
No more, but so.
Think it no more. Perhaps she loves you now, but you must fear. Her greatness weighed, her will is not her own, for she herself is subject to her birth. She may not choose, for on that choice depends the safety and health of this whole state.
Ophelia brow furrows.
Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain if you believe her, if you lose your heart. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it. My dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
And shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart.
Ophelia catches his arm. He kisses her forehead.
But good, my brother, do not show me the thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine, yourself the primrose path of dalliance tread.
Oh, fear me not.
They take a selfie. Duck faces.
I stay too long. But here, my father comes.
Yes, here, Laertes, aboard! Aboard for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for.
Polonius produces his checkbook, writes Laertes a check as Laertes looks on reprovingly. Ophelia skulks, texting.
There, my blessings with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast and their adoption tried, grapple them unto your soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in it, best that the opposed may be well.
Laertes can't get away.
Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not
Gestures to gold duffel bag.
For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulleth the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, that thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell.
Father hugs son.
My blessing season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invests you. Go! Your servant's tent.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is to Ophelia he has said to you?
So please you, something touching Lady Hamlet.
'Tis told me she hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself, of your audience, been most free and
Ophelia hides her
bounteous.
phone behind her back.
What is between you?
Polonius taps his foot.
Give me up the truth.
He reaches for phone. Grudgingly, she hands it over.
She hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of affection to me.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. From this tie be something scanter of your maiden presence. Set your treatment at a higher rate than a command to quarrel. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment's leisure as to give words or talk with Hamlet. Girl. I charge you, look to it. Come your
He
way.
gestures for her to follow. She stalks off opposite. Hamlet, Horatio, Marcellus enter. Cool blue light.
Air bites shrewdly. It is very cold. What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. It draws then near the season wherein the spirits held his wont to walk. What does this mean, this noise?
The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse. Keeps wassail in the swaggering upspring reels, and as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Look. Oh, look, it comes!
Ghost enters through audience.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Bring with the airs from heaven or blast from hell, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane, oh, answer me!
It beckons you to go away with it.
And I will follow it.
Do not, Highness!
Why? What should be the fear?
What
I
if
do
it-
not set my life at a pin's fee.
What if it tempts you toward the flood, my friend,
waves
into the
me
dreadful
forth.
summit of the cliff?
I'll follow it.
No, do not, Highness!
Why? What should be the fear? My fate cries out. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me, I say, away!
Hamlet breaks free.
Lex is desperate with imagination.
Let's follow.
To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, have after.
Marcellus and Horatio race out. Hamlet enters following the ghost.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me!
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear. I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day, confined to fashion fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. For that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, and each particular hair would stand an end like quills upon the fretful porcupine. List! List, oh, list! If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
God.
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. murder!
Murder!
Murder most foul!
Hamlet's eyes wet.
Strange! And unnatural! Now Hamlet here, 'tis given out, that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there. From me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air.
Hamlet walks Ghost.
Grief, let me be. Sleeping within my orchard. My custom, always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, and in the porches of my ears did pour a leprous distilment whose effect, as swift as quicksilver, it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and curd like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood, so did it mine.
Hamlet holds ear.
Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off, even in the blossoms of my sin, a reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible! Oh, horrible, most horrible! Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns which in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near. Adieu.
Ghost glides past Hamlet. They're unable to touch.
Adieu. Adieu. Remember me!
Hamlet alone.
Oh, you host of heaven!
Hands to temples.
Oh, earth! What else? Shall I couple hell? Oh, fine. Hold my heart!
Beats chest.
I knew my sinews grow that instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. Aye, thou poor ghost, whilst memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Yes, by heaven! Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain! Villain, smiling, damned villain! So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word.
Draws dagger from boot, slices hand to swear.
It is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn.
Heaven secure her.
So be it.
What news, Highness?
Oh, wonderful.
Good Hamlet, tell it.
No,
Points dagger
you will reveal it.
Not I, by heaven.
Nor I by heaven.
There's never a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
There needs no ghost, my friend, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right. You are in the right.
She's dagger.
And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands.
Shakes
and
hands with
part.
Horatio.
I will go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words.
He won't let her go.
I'm sorry they offend you. Heartily, yes, Faith. Heartily.
There's no offense, Hamlet.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense too.
He bandages her hand.
And now, good friends, give me one poor request.
What is it, my friend?
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
Highness,
we will not.
Nay, but swear it upon my blade.
we have sworn Hamlet already.
Come on! You hear this fellow in the cellarage, consent to swear.
Propose the oath, lady.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my blade. Now lay your hands again upon my blade. Swear ne'er to speak of this that you have heard.
Day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Now, I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, and you, at such time seeing me, never shall, with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This do swear.
Swear! So shall we swear.
Rest! Rest, perturbed spirit. So now, good friends, with all my love I do commend me to you. And what so poor a soul as Hamlet is may do to express her love, and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
Marcellus and Horatio follow her out.
Give him this money and these bills, Rinaldo.
Polonius and servant.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvels wisely, good Rinaldo, before you visit him to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I didn't.
How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
Ophelia runs in.
Oh, my lord, I have been so frightened.
What in the name of God?
Lord, as I was sewing in my closet, comes Hamlet with her laces all unbraced, pale as her shirt, and with a look so piteous as if she had been loosed out of hell, to speak of horrors. She comes before me.
Mad that I love?
My lord, I do not know. She took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes she to the length of all her arm, and with her other hand thus o'er her brow, she falls to such perusal of my face as she would draw it. Long stayed she so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice her head thus waving up and down, she raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all her bulk and end her being. That done, she lets me go, and with her head over her shoulder turned, she seemed to find her way without her eyes, for out a door she went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me.
She takes his hand.
I will go seek the king.
Let's go.
This is the very ecstasy of love. Have you given her any hard words of late?
No, but as you did command, denied her access to me.
That hath made her mad. This must be known, which being kept close might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
She hesitates, then follows. Gertrude, Claudius, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
They gawk.
Moreover, that we much did long to see you, the need we have to use you, did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation? What hath put her so much from the understanding of herself I cannot dream of. I entreat you, gather so much as from occasion you may glean.
Your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties!
They bow.
Might by the sovereign power you have of us, put your just pleasure more to command than to entreat.
Hold out a wedding present.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
And I beseech you instantly to find my too much changed child. Go, seek her out.
Heaven make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to her.
Aye, amen.
They awkwardly hug the king and queen before running out. Polonius enters.
Greetings unto your majesties. A word. I hold my duty as I hold my soul, to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it hath used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
I doubt it is no other but the main, her father's death and our hasty marriage.
Gertrude draws close to Claudius.
My liege and madam, to expostulate. What majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief.
Gertrude and Claudius sit to listen to Polonius.
The noble air is mad. Mad, God! For to define madness, what is to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More better with less art.
Madam, I assure you I use no art at all. That she is mad, 'tis true, 'tis true. 'Tis pity, and pity 'tis true, a foolish figure. But farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant her then, and thus remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather the cause of this defect, for this effect defective comes by cause, and thus remains, and remains thus perpend. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience hath given me this. Gather and surmise.
He pulls out Ophelia's cell phone, tries to orient it.
To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified. Oh, that's an ill phrase. That's a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. Oh, but you sure here? In her excellent white bosom, thus, etc.
Came this from Hamlet?
Madam, stay a while. I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, that I love thee best, oh, most best, believe it, adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me.
But how hath she received this love?
But I had seen this hot love on the wing, what might you think?
Gertrude scrolls through phone.
I went to work, and to my young lady thus I did bespeak. This must not be. And then I prescripts gave her that she admit no messenger, receive no gifts. Hamlet, repelled, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, then into a lightness, then into a weakness, and by this declension, into the madness wherein now she raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be. Oh, very likely.
She shows a photo.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise.
How may we try it further?
You know sometimes she walks in the 4 hours here together in the lobby.
So she does, indeed.
At such a time I'll loose my daughter to her. Be you and I in an heiress, then we'll mark the encounter.
We will try it.
But look where sadly the poor wretch comes.
Hamlet enters.
Reading.
Away, I do beseech you both, away.
Hamlet enters, necktie around head, reading Dr. Seuss's Are You My Mother?
How does my noble Hamlet?
Well, God a mercy.
Do you know me, my lady?
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
Oh, no, my lady.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lady?
Aye, sir. To be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
Very true, my lady.
For if the sun breed maggots and a dead dog, being a good kissing, carrion. Oh! Have you a daughter?
I have, my lady.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to
Gooses him.
Oh! How make you of that? Still harping on my daughter, and yet she knew me not at first.
Speaks to a lady in the audience.
She's far gone. And truly in my youth, I suffered such extremity for love. Very near this. And I'll speak to her again.
Hamlet lies on bench, feet in air.
What do you read, my lady?
Words, words, words.
What is the matter, my lady?
Between who?
The matter that you read, my lady.
Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have grey beards, that their faces are wrinkled, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams.
Hamlet uses feet as puppets.
All which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For you yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go
Polonius
backward.
has been addressing her feet.
Though this be madness, there's method in't. Will you walk out of the air, my lady?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes your replies are. A happiness that sometimes...
Hamlet's balances book on head. Polonius turns to see her, frozen.
Yes, I will take my leave of you.
You cannot take from me anything that I will not more willingly part withal. Except my life, except my life, except my life.
Polonius grabs book and exits.
These tedious old fools.
You go to seek the noble Hamlet?
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
God save you, sir.
My honored lady.
My most dear princess.
My excellent good friend.
Three-way handshake. They give Hamlet a Wittenberg hat.
How dost thou, Guildenstern? Oh, Rosencrantz, good both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On Fortune's cap we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe?
Neither, my lady.
Then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors?
Faith, her private suite.
In the secret parts of Fortune. Woo! Most true, she is a strumpet!
All three wear matching Wittenberg hats.
What news?
None, my friend, but the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of Fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, madam.
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so.
Why then 'tis none to you. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison.
Why then your ambition makes it one? 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams. But, in the beaten way of friendship, what make you in Elsinore?
To visit you, our friend. No other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my friend?
Oh, that you must teach me. But let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
My lady.
Rosencrantz goes from shaking his head to nodding.
I will tell you why. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgotten all custom of exercise.
Shrugs off Guildenstern.
And indeed, it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air.
Hamlet lays down.
Look you.
Looks up.
This brave, o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire, why, it appeareth nothing but to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors.
Hamlet sits up. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern record on their phone.
What a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither. Though by your smiling you seem to say so.
Good lady, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then, when I said man delights not me?
To think, lady, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We counted them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. What players are they?
Even those you are wont to take such delight in. The tragedians of the city.
Oh, my friends, you are welcome.
She hugs them.
You are welcome. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, dear lady?
I am but mad, north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Polonius.
Greetings unto your friends.
I will prophesy. He comes to tell me of the players. Mark it.
Milady, I have news to tell you. The players have come hither, milady.
Bumps
him with her butt.
Upon my honor.
Davy checked around his ass.
These are the best players in the world for either tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral.
Goofs behind his back.
Historical, pastoral, tragical, comical, tragical, historical, pastoral, scene, indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Flanders too light. These are the only
players enter. One man, one woman, one young man. The lead player is a man dressed all in black. The other two wear jeans and white blouses.
What? My young lady and mistress. My lordship, your lordship is nearer to heaven than when last I saw you.
To the youngest player, a man.
We'll have a speech straight. A passionate speech.
What speech, Highness?
I heard thee speak me a speech once. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, and especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast. Oh, 'tis not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam, seeks. So proceed you.
Lead player takes his place standing on a bench.
Oh, good, my lady. Well spoken, with good accent and good discretion.
She waves Polonius out of the way. Player begins.
Anon he finds him. Striking two shorted Greeks, his antique sword, rebellious to his armed eyes where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, enraged, strikes wide. But with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls.
He gesticulates.
Then, senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top, stoops to his base, and with the hinges crashed, takes prisoner Pyrrhus' sword, for lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of reverend Priam, seemed in the air to
Uses his arm like a sword.
So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter did nothing, but as we often see, against some storm a silence in the heavens. The rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon, the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets anew alert. And never did the Cyclops hammers fall on Mars' armor forged for a ruby turn, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out!
Polonius tries to break in.
Out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods in general synod, take away her powers. Break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven as low as to the feet.
This is too long.
Shout to the barbers with your beard. Prithee say on. He's for a jig, or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba.
But who, oh woe, had seen the mobled queen?
The mobled queen.
That's good. Mobled queen. That's good.
Player stands still, motionless.
Run barefoot, up and down, threatening the flames with bison broom. A clout upon that head where late the diadem stood.
Begins to use his arms.
And for a robe, about her lank and all her timid loins, a blanket. In the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen with tongue and venom steeped, gainst fortune's state would treason have pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport, in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs. The instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods.
Stillness.
Look where he has not turned his color and has tears in his eyes.
Polonius waves his hands.
No more.
Well,
Wipes his eyes.
I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report.
I will use them according to their own desert.
Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Okay. Come, players.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow.
Hamlet stops the lead player.
Old friend, can you play the murder of Gonzago?
I'm the lady.
We'll have it tomorrow night. You could study a speech of some dozen lines or 16 lines, which I could set down and insert in, could you not?
I'm the lady.
Very well. Follow that lord, and look you mock him not.
He smiles knowingly as he exits.
My friends, I'll leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my friend.
Aye. So goodbye to you.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit, Hamlet alone. Hamlet takes off cap, sits on the bench where the lead player has just stood, unbandages her hand, considers her palm, flexes her fingers, looks at audience, conversing with them.
Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all the visage waned, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do, had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? Oh, he would drown the stage with tears, and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free.
Paces.
Confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears, yet I,
Still.
a dull and muddy-meddled rascal, peak like John a Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made.
Strides towards audience.
Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this? Huh? Zoons! I should take it, for it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this I should have fatted all the region kites with this knave's awful, bloody villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain, oh, vengeance!
Stands on bench, arms outreached. Hands to forehead.
Why, what an ass am I? This is most brave, that I, the child of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a scullion, now fire, fire!
Buries head in hands, sitting on bench. Stares at audience.
About my brains.
Idea.
I have heard that guilty creatures, sitting at a play, have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. If he do blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be a devil, and the devil hath a power to assume a pleasing shape, yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Runs out, excited.
And can you by no drift of conference get from her why she puts on this confusion?
She does confess she feels herself distracted, but from what cause I will by no means speak.
And with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring her on to some confession of her true state.
Did you assay her to any pastime?
Madam.
Curtsies.
It so fell out that certain players wrought along the way. Of this we told her, and there did seem in her a kind of joy to hear of it.
It is most true, and she did beseech me to entreat your majesties to hear and see them play.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear her so inclined. Good friends of ours,
Hands them money.
give her a further edge, and drive her purpose into these delights.
We shall, my lord!
Sweet Gertrude, leave us two. For we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that she may hear affront Ophelia. Her father and myself will see unseen. We may of their encounter frankly judge if to be the affliction of her love, or no, that thus she suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness.
Ophelia's smile grimaces.
Walk this way, read on this book. Withdraw, my lord.
Claudius and Polonius hide. Ophelia looks around and rushes out. Hamlet enters, alone, bathed in blue light. Claudius and Polonius, visible as shadows.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin. Who would fardels bear? To grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death. The undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Ophelia rushes in. They embrace, holding each other tightly.
Good lady, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you.
Hamlet cups
Well.
Ophelia's face in her hands.
Well,
Madam, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
no, not I.
Hamlet backs off.
I never gave you aught.
My honored one, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath composed as made these things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind.
Hamlet rips the book from Ophelia's hands, finds the note folded inside it, recognizes it.
Are you honest?
Hamlet,
Are you fair?
what means your worship?
That if you be honest and fair, Your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. I did love you once.
Indeed. You made me believe so.
You should not have believed me.
Rips up letter.
I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery.
Hamlet tries to exit. Hears a sound. Ophelia looks behind herself.
Where's your father?
Grimaces.
At home, lady.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell!
Oh, heavenly
Ophelia sinks to her knees.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too. Farewell.
Oh, help her, your sweet heaven.
I have heard of your paintings well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig and amble and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures, and you make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to! I'll no more on't, it hath made me mad! I say!
Crouches.
We will have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are.
Kneels. Cups Ophelia's face. Holds her hands.
To a nunnery. Go.
Hamlet runs out. Ophelia alone.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown! The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectation and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of her music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of time and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Ah, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
Love? Her affections do not that way tend. This is not madness. There's something in her soul o'er which her melancholy sits on brood. She shall with speed to England. What think you on it?
It shall do well. How now, Ophelia, you need not tell us what young Hamlet said. We heard it all.
Ophelia rebuffs her father, runs out with note pieces in her hands.
My lord, after the play, let the queen mother all alone entreat her, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference.
It shall be so.
Polonius exits after his daughter.
Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Claudius exits, Hamlet close behind, dagger drawn, silhouetted. Flips dagger in her hand. Turns, stalks out into the darkness. Intermission. Hamlet enters with the 3 players in tow. They're preparing for the play. She hands out scripts.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines, nor do not saw the air too much with your hand, thus. But use all gently, for in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings who are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows.
Stares at audience.
Pray you, avoid it.
I warrant your honor.
Starts to exit, turns around.
Be not too tame, neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so o'erdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, though in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go!
Youngest player
ready.
stares at Hamlet.
How now, my lord, will the king hear this piece of
And
work?
the queen too, and that presently.
Gestures to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Horatio!
Here, sweet Hamlet, at your service.
There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes very near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I pray thee, when thou seest that act afoot, observe my uncle. Give him heedful note.
If he steal aught the whilst the play is playing and escape detecting, I'll pay with that.
They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a
Claudius,
play!
Gertrude, Polonius, Ophelia.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent, faith, of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise crammed.
Sprawls on
You
throne.
cannot feed capons so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine now.
She stands. King and queen take their throne.
Oh, now, my lord, you played once in the university, you say?
That I did, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did an act.
Brushes his hair forward.
Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there.
She glances at Ophelia.
Be the players ready?
Well, aye, madam, they stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
Approaches Ophelia.
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, milady.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, milady.
Did you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, madam.
Oh, that's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, madam?
No thing.
You are merry, milady.
Oh, I?
Aye.
What should one do but be merry? For look you how cheerfully my mother looks. And my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, madam.
So long. Oh, heavens, died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Well, there's hope. A great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
She reclines in Ophelia's lap. The players enter. Throughout the scene, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern play a drinking game. Player Queen steps over Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, curtsies to the King and Queen, followed by Player King. He bows. Third player hides behind his cape.
What means this, milady?
Marry, it means mischief. We shall know by this fellow.
For us and for our tragedy here, stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this the prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, milady.
As woman's love.
Player King.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus Kurt gone round, Neptune sought wash, and Tellus erbed ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed shen about the world hath times 1230s been, since love our hearts and hymen in our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
Player Queen.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from sharing from your former state that I distrust you. Yet though I distrust, this comfort
Pantomime.
my lord if nothing must. For women's fear and love hold quantity in neither ought nor in extremity.
Faith, I must live le love and short le too, My operant powers their functions live to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honoured, beloved, and happily one as kind. For husband shalt thou...
Confound the rest. Such love must need be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
That's wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are baser specks of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think now what you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love laid fortune, or else fortune love. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock from me day and night. Both here and hence, pursue me lasting strife. If once I be a widow, ever I be a wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deathless sworn, sweet, live me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep, rock thy brain, and never come mischance.
Player King lies down.
Us twain.
Player Queen curtsies, moves aside.
How like you this
Gertrude and
play?
Claudius are onto it.
Lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offense in the world.
What do you call the play?
The mouse trap. This play is the very image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name. His wife, Baptista. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and we that have free souls, it touches us not. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king. Begin, murderer.
Caped player approaches. Claudius crosses arms. Gertrude avoids Claudius's gaze.
Lift thy damnable faces and begin.
Player tosses Piccolo aside.
Thoughts! Black hands apt, drugs fit in time, agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature sing.
Holds a vial.
Thou mixture rank of midnight waves collected, with Hecate band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property.
Pantomimes poisoning Player King in ear.
Usurps immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
King rises.
Why, frightened with false fire.
How fares my lord?
Give over the play!
Player King holds out his crown to Claudius.
Give me some light! Away!
Lights! Lights! Lights!
Hamlet Horatio alone as Player King floats out.
Horatio! I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my friend.
On the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note.
For if the king like not the comedy, why then belike he likes it not, Purdy.
Horatio pockets his cell phone. Rosencrantz Guildenstern.
A whole history.
The king, ma'am,
Aye, sir, what of him?
is in his retirement marvelous distemper.
With drink, sir.
Good madam, start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
I cannot, sir.
What?
Make you a wholesome answer, my wit
Waggles hands.
deceived. But to the matter, my mother, you say?
Rosencrantz.
Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration. She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
Milady, you once did love me.
Brandishes his player's whistle. Hamlet grabs it.
Will you play upon this pipe?
My lady, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, Highness.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these ventages with your fingers and thumbs. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music.
Holds it out to Guildenstern.
Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now. How unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ. Yet cannot you make it speak? Spud! Do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you fret me, you cannot play upon me. Oh, God bless you, sir!
Polonius.
Hamlet, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud?
Gestures to the
It's
sky.
almost in the shape of a camel.
By the mass, like a camel indeed.
Methinks it is like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bed. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends.
Tosses whistle at them. Salutes Horatio as he exits. Hamlet alone.
It is now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft now. To my mother. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none.
Strides out. Claudius enters.
I like it not, nor stands it safe with us to let her madness range.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Therefore, prepare you. I, your commission, will forthwith dispatch, and she to England shall along with you.
We will haste us.
My lord, she's going to her mother's closet. Behind the arras I will convey myself to hear the process.
Polonius without jacket.
Very
Exits.
well, my liege. I will call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord.
Claudius alone.
Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven.
Strips jacket and tie.
Hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder.
He crosses himself.
Pray can I not? Though inclination be as strong as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense?
Beats chest.
Oh, wretched state, oh, bosom black as death. Bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Kneels, hands clasped in prayer. Hamlet stalks in. Face to face with Claudius. His eyes are closed. She circles him carefully. Checks the room to see that they're alone. Gestures to him, then glances at audience questioningly.
Now might I do it, Pat? Now he is praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged.
Grabs dagger, runs towards him from behind. Stops.
That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole child, do the same villain send to heaven? Why, this is higher in salary, not revenge.
Looks at him again, raises dagger. Tries a second approach. Walks calmly towards him. Raises her dagger high overhead, ready to thrust. Dagger sticks in the air.
No. Up, blade, and know thou a more horrid hent.
She sheathes.
When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays.
She picks up Claudius's tie.
This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
She runs out with his tie. He looks up, finishing his prayers.
My words fly up. My thoughts remain below.
He pushes himself up, grabs his jacket, can't find his tie. Stops. Looks around.
Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He exits separately.
She will come straight. Look, you lay home to her. Pray you be round with her.
I warrant you, fear me not.
Gertrude in nightgown. Polonius hides behind panel. Hamlet runs in, shimmying.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and, would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder
Hamlet
me.
forces Gertrude down. Hamlet stabs, unseeing. Gertrude observes the body.
Oh, me! What hast thou done? Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
What a rash and bloody deed is this!
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king.
Aye, lady, it was my word.
Hamlet sees Polonius's body.
Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool. Farewell. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down and let me wring your heart, for so I shall.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue a noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, makes marriage vows as false as dicer's oaths.
I mean, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here.
Hamlet shows Gertrude Hamlet's locket.
Upon this picture.
It holds Hamlet Sr.'s photo.
And on this.
Gertrude has Claudius's.
The counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls. The front of Jove himself. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? You cannot call it love. For at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this?
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches.
Hamlet turns, sees Hamlet's ghost.
And hover o'er me with your wings. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, she's mad.
Do you not come your tardy child to chide? Oh, say!
Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you? Whereon do you look?
On him. On him, look you how pale he glares.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Why, look where it goes even now out of the portal my father in his habit as he lived.
This is the very coinage of your brain.
It is not madness. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul that not your trespass, but my madness speaks.
They clasp each other by the hands.
Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain. Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the pure with the other half.
Hamlet pulls away.
Good night. But go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence. The next more easy, for use can almost change the stamp of nature. Once more, good night.
Hamlet goes to Polonius's body.
For this same Lord, I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins, and worse remains behind.
What shall I do?
This counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish, prating knave. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room.
Hamlet heaves Polonius onto her back. She drags him a few steps.
Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
Ghost guides Polonius away. Claudius enters.
Oh, mine own lord, what have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind, in her lawless fit, behind the arras hearing something stir, whips out her dagger, cries a rat, and in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Claudius looks where Polonius was slain.
Oh, indeed. It had been so with us had we been there.
They embrace.
Her liberty is full of threats to all, to you, yourself, to us, to everyone. How shall this deed be answered? Where's she gone?
To draw apart the body she hath killed.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. Oh, Guildenstern!
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern enter, scampering.
Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from her mother's closet hath she dragged him. Go fetch the body in. I pray you, haste!
They run after Hamlet.
Come, Gertrude, now, my love. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
The royal couple follow arm in arm. Hamlet scampers in.
Safely stowed! Oh, here they come.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern head
What
her
have
off.
you done, Highness, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us what 'tis that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own.
Madam, you must tell us where the body is.
And go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lady.
Of nothing.
How now, what hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from.
Claudius.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
Supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are even at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. A man may fish with a worm that hath ed of a king, and eat of a fish that hath fed of that worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
She turns, revealing she's wearing his tie.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven, send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself.
He starts towards her. She runs away.
If indeed you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
She slaps Guildenstern on the butt as she runs out.
Hamlet, this deed must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it.
But come, for England.
She hugs Claudius.
Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. And so,
She licks his face.
my mother. But come, for England!
I'll have her hence tonight.
From this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
Pray you make haste.
Rosencrantz hands the money back to Claudius.
And England, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imparts at full with letters congruing to that effect the present death of Hamlet.
Wipes his face.
Do it, England! For like the hectic in my blood she rages, and thou must cure me. till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
Clenched fist, he strides out.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense.
Horatio.
'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in.
Gertrude. Horatio races out.
My sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy is guilt. It spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
Ophelia, mascara running.
Ophelia!
How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle hat and staff and his sandal shoe.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you, mark.
Falls to her knees as if at a grave.
He is dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf. At his
Mime's
heel
poisoning.
a stone.
May, but Ophelia.
Pray you, mark. White his shroud as the mountain snow, lighted all with sweet flowers.
Mime's funeral.
Which me wept to the ground, did not go with true
Beats her head with fists.
love showers.
Alas, look here, my lord.
How do you, pretty lady?
Sees Claudius. Clambers towards him.
Well, God dilled you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be.
She smacks his ring finger.
God be at your table.
Races to Horatio.
Father.
Pray you, let's have no words of this. But when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning be time.
Dances with
And
Horatio.
I have made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up
Wildly.
she rolls and thunder blows and doth the chamber door. And in the maid that out a maid never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia, how long hath she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but weep to think they would lay him in the cold ground.
Turns to Claudius, clear-eyed.
My brother shall know of it. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach!
She curtsies.
Good night, ladies.
Stumbles.
Good night. Sweet ladies, good night. Good night.
Races out.
Follow her close. Give her good watch, I pray you.
Horatio follows her.
What noise is this?
What is the matter?
Bernardo.
Lord, young Laertes and Eurydice obeys your offices. The rebel, they call him Lord. They cry, choose we. Laertes shall be king. Laertes shall be king.
Bernardo races out. Laertes follows in, holding a long knife.
Thou vile king, give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that's called proclaims me bastard!
It's the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like. Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person.
She stands aside.
Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? He'll not be juggled with! To hell, allegiance I dare! Damnation let come! What comes only I'll be revenged, most throughly, for my father!
Good Laertes, if you would know the true consent of your father is writ in your revenge, that swoop stake, you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser.
None but his enemies.
Will you know
Holds
them
knife
then?
out at full length.
To his good friends, thus wide, I'll open my arms, and like the kind, life-rendering pelican, repast them with my blood!
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman, that I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sincerely in grief.
Oh, now, what noise is that? Oh, heat.
Ophelia.
Dry up my brains, oh rose of May.
With flowers.
Dear maid.
He sheathes knife.
Kind sister. Sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens.
She avoids him.
Is it possible a young maid's wits should be as mortal as an old man's life?
They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey, nonny, nonny, hey, nonny. And in his grave rained many a tear.
She avoids his touch.
Fare you well, my dove.
Hadst thou thy wits and didst persuade, revenge it could not move thus.
She hands him flowers.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. And there's pansies, that's for thoughts.
Now to Claudius.
There's fennel for you. And columbines.
Throws them at him.
There's rue for you.
To Gertrude.
Oh, and here's some for me. We may call it herb grace of Sundays. You may wear your rue with a difference.
To Horatio.
There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died.
Back to the imaginary grave.
You say he made a good end. For bonny sweet Robin is all my joy.
Thoughts,
Mime's poisoning.
affliction, passion, hell itself she turns to favor and to prettiness.
And will she not come again? And will she not come again? No! No! She is dead!
Breaks Laertes' embrace.
She never will come again!
Do you see this, oh God?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief. Be you content to lend your patience to us, and we will jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Horatio gives her his daisy.
Let this be so.
And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. Pray, go with me.
Claudius pulls Laertes aside. Horatio helps Ophelia up. Hands her off to Gertrude. Gertrude hands her the rest of her flowers, brushes her hair back out of her face. Gives her a kiss on the forehead. Gestures for her to follow Gertrude off. Ophelia takes one look back at Horatio, then follows Gertrude, dazed. Claudius and Laertes alone.
Now must your conscience my acquittance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend. Sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, how she which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears, but tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so criminal in nature.
The queen, her mother, lives almost by her looks, and for myself Gertrude so conjunctive to my life and soul I could not but by her. The other motive is the great love the general people bear her, which in affection convert her gyves to graces.
And so have I, a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth stood challenger of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that, you shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves, and that, I hope, will teach you to imagine. How now, what news?
Marcellus.
This news, my lord, from Hamlet. On her return tomorrow, she'll speak with you.
She passes through, alone again.
What should this mean?
Oh, let her come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell her to the T. Thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, will you be ruled by me?
I, my lord.
Stops.
So, you will not rule me to a peace.
Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Draws knife again.
Hamlet comes back. What will you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son more than in words?
To cut her throat in the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet return shall know you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence, admire it for your rapier most especially. We'll wager o'er your heads. She, being free, most generous from all contriving, shall not peruse the foils, so that with ease or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a pass of practice requite her for your father.
I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it where it draws blood, none saves the thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch.
Brandishes knife.
Point with this contagion that if I gall her slightly, it may be dead.
Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. Soft, let me see. I hat. When in your motion you are hot and dry, and that she calls for drink, I'll have prepared for her a chalice for the nonce. We're on but sipping. If she by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there.
Gertrude.
But stay, what noise?
One woe doth tread upon another's heels, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Reaches out to him.
Drowned. Where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoary leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples.
He stumbles.
There on the pendant boughs, her crowned weeds clamoring to hang, an envious sliver broke.
Sinks to his knees.
When down her weedy trophies, and herself fell in the weeping brook.
Drops his knife.
Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress.
He reaches out to imagined Ophelia.
But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
He sinks back on his knees. She kneels with him.
Alas, then she is drowned. Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears.
Wipes eyes.
Adieu, my lord! I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly drowns it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear I, this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Two gravediggers enter and arrange benches like a grave.
Is she to be buried in Christian dirt when she willfully seeks her own salvation? I tell you she is, therefore make her great strength. How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis bound so.
Well, it must be she, oh Fendendo. It cannot be else. She drowned herself wittingly.
No, but hear you.
Come. Give me a lead.
He mimes with his hands.
Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to the water and drown himself, it is willy-nilly he goes, mark it that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argyle, he who's not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life. Come, my shovel. I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thee wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well, but how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now, thou does ill to say that the gallows is stronger than the church. Argyle, the gallows may do well to thee. To it again, come.
Who builds stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
Tell me that and unyoke.
Marry now, I can tell.
Tell it!
Oh, I cannot tell.
She sits on the ground cross-legged.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mantish pace with beating. And when you're asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses he make last till doomsday. Go on in, fetch me a sup of liquor.
Gravedigger 2 exits. Gravedigger unearths the skull with his shovel, sets it aside.
I ain't got nobody. Nobody cares for me.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee.
Hamlet and Horatio.
Has this fellow no feeling at his business? He sings in grave making.
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
That skull had a tongue in it once and could sing. How the knave jowls it to the ground. That might be the skull of a courtier, might it not?
It might, my lady.
Hamlet approaches Gravedigger.
Whose grave's this, Sirrah?
Mine, miss.
Oh, I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in't.
Well, I do not lie in it, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in't, to be in't, and say it is thine. What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, miss.
For what woman, then?
For none neither.
Who's to be buried in?
Crosses arms.
One that was woman, but rest her soul, she dead.
Hamlet smiles, shakes head.
How absolute the knave is. How long hast thou been Gravemaker?
Ever since that day young Hamlet was born, she that is mad and sent into England.
Aye, marry. Why was she sent into England?
Why, even with being mad.
Well, how came she mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Even with losing her wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Hamlet crouches.
If he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocky corpses that will scarce hold the laying in, he will last you some 8 or 9 years. A tanner will last you 9 years.
Why he more than another?
Why, miss, his hide is so tanned with his trade that it'll keep out water a great while. And your water is your sore decayer of your horse and dead body.
Pulls out another skull.
Now, here lies a skull that hath lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A horse and mad fellow. Who should think it was?
Plays peekaboo with skull.
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. He poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This same skull was York's skull, King's jester.
He hands the skull to her.
Even that.
Second Gravedigger returns. Hamlet regards skull.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy.
Cradles the skull in her hand.
He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. Here hung those lips
Touches its teeth.
that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one to mock your own grinning, quite chop-fallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick, make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that?
Dost thou think Alexander looked to this fashion in the earth and smelt so? Oh,
Even so, my friend. What's off the while? Here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Who's this they follow?
Hamlet and Horatio run, crouch, out of sight. Gravediggers exit. Priest leads in funeral procession, followed by Ophelia, walking slowly, dressed in white, eyes covered, followed by Laertes, hand pressed to his heart. Claudius and Gertrude behind, followed by Osric, who skulks in the corner.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done.
Claudius clears throat.
We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace parted souls.
Laertes turns to Ophelia.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
what, the fair Ophelia, sweets to the sweet.
Gertrude presents flowers.
Hold off the earth awhile till I caught her once more in mine arms.
Laertes climbs in grave, embraces Ophelia's
Now
limp
pile your
body.
dust upon the quick and dead.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
Devil take thy soul!
Hamlet lunges at Laertes, pushes him aside. She picks up Ophelia, scuffle over the body.
I will fight with him, Augustine, until my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my child, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not other quantity of love make up my son.
Lunge at each other
What wilt thou
again.
do for her?
She is mad, Laertes.
The love of God forbear her.
Soon show me what thou wilt do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself. I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with weeping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I.
This is mere
What
madness.
is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
Strengthen
Hamlet
your
frees
patience
herself, runs
in our
out.
last night's speech.
Horatio
We'll put the
follows.
matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your child. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be.
Gertrude exits, followed by Claudius and Laertes. Priest remains. With a gesture of his hand, he raises Ophelia from the grave. Gravediggers clear away benches. Ophelia rises to her feet. Priest places her hands back over her eyes. Becoming ghost-like, the priest leads her out as green light covers them. Hamlet strides in, followed by Horatio, bathed in blue light. She has removed her leathered coat.
You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it.
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting. Let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well. There's a divinity that shapes our ends.
Her hands his shoulders.
Pursue them how we will.
That's most certain.
Up from my cabin in the dark, groped I to find their grand commission. And there I found Horatio, royal knavery. An exact command, my head should be struck off.
Is't possible?
And wilt thou hear now how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. An earnest conjuration from the king, he should those bearers put to sudden death.
How was this sealed?
I had my father's signet in my purse, that is the model of that Danish seal.
Ghost passes through
Folded it,
Rosencrantz and
gave it the
Guildenstern.
impression, placed it safely, the changeling never knows.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow.
Why, what a king is this?
He that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, and with such cousinage, is't not perfect conscience than to quit him with this arm? But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself, for by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his.
Peace, who comes here?
Osric.
Your worship is right. Welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost thou know this waterfly?
No, good lady.
Thy state is the more gracious. 'Tis a vice to know him. He hath much land and fertile, spacious in the possession of dirt.
Madame, there is newly come to court Laertes. Believe me, an absolute gentleman full of excellent differences and soft society and great showing. Indeed, if I may speak feelingly of him. He is the card of calendar of gentry, for you should see in him the continent of what part a gentle man would see.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you, though to divide him inventorily would dazzle the arithmetic of memory. What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
Of him, sir?
I know that you are not ignorant to what excellence Laertes is.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
Well, that's two of his weapons, but well.
The king, Madame,
Deep bow.
hath laid, Madame,
Deep bow again.
that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. It shall come to immediate trial, if your ladyship should vouchsafe the answer.
If it please his majesty, let the foils be brought. I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I deliver you so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your worship.
Yours.
Yours.
Osric dons gloves, exits.
You will lose, my friend.
I do not think so. Thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart. But it is no matter.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I'll say you're not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all.
Court enters, Claudius leading Laertes.
Come, Hamlet, come. And take this hand from me.
Laertes and Hamlet join hands.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong. But pardoned as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am suffered with a poor distraction. What I have done, that might your honor, nature, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Oh, I have shot my arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
Laertes pulls her close.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof. But till that time I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, lady.
No, by this hand.
Osric holds the foils, the fencing swords. Laertes picks another foil, considers it carefully.
This likes me well. These foils have all the length.
Aye, my good lady.
Marcellus, bring forth the stoup of wine. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, the king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup a treasure shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive queens in Denmark's crown have worn. Come, begin.
Claudius holds a pearl.
Come on, sir.
Come, Highness.
The match begins. Foils drawn, shifting feet. Laertes trips Hamlet. He backs off. She stands up, having fallen on the ground, dusts herself off. They reset. She fakes him out again. He strikes. She passes. He leaps backwards. He passes over her head.
Judgment!
A hit, a very palpable hit.
Hamlet has touched him with her foil, scoring a point.
Well, again.
Stay. Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy
Claudius
health.
takes a sip of wine, drops the poisoned pearl into the wine.
Give her the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while.
Hamlet approaches Laertes.
Come.
Foils carried high. She's backed into a corner, but holds her own. Advances on Laertes. They pause, collecting themselves. Laertes swishes his sword competently. Hamlet pokes fun, waving her sword, waggling it comically. They refocus. They assume their starting stances. Laertes advances.
Another hit! Let's say
Don't touch her! Touch, I do confess!
Hamlet scored another point.
Hamlet shall win!
Queen, carouse us to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink!
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon.
Gertrude takes a sip of the wine,
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord!
dabs Hamlet's
Hit her
forehead.
now. I do not think it, yet it is almost against my conscience.
Come.
Gertrude
For
stumbles
the
as she
third,
returns to her
Laertes.
seat.
You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am sure you make a wanton of me.
Say you so. Come on!
He starts without formality. He strikes quickly.
Nothing
grapple.
neither way.
Osric parts them.
How about you now?
Laertes strikes at her back. She grabs Laertes, hand-to-hand combat. She throws Laertes to the ground. Osric too. Strikes Laertes with his own sword.
Wolfton's bleed their hoe.
Bleed on both sides. How is it happening?
How's Laertes?
I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No! The drink! The drink! Oh, my dear Hamlet! The drink! The drink! Poisoned!
Gertrude crumples on the floor, dead.
Oh! Villainy! Treachery! Seek it out!
It is here! Hamlet! Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour's life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. And the foul practice hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king's to blame.
Point in venom too. The venom to thy work.
Hamlet stabs Claudius in the gut. He stumbles backward.
Oh, yet defend me, friends, I am but hurt.
Hamlet forces him to his knees, forces the wine down his throat.
Murderous damned Dane! Drink of this potion! Follow my mother!
He collapses. Hamlet still holding the goblet.
He is justly served.
Laertes extended his hands.
Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet.
Heaven make thee free of it!
He writhes, goes limp. She closes his eyes gently.
I follow thee.
Touches his chest. Stumbles backward, goblet still in hand.
I am dead. Horatio! Wretched queen! Adieu! You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mute or audience to this act, had I but time, oh, I could tell you. But let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. Here's yet some liquor left.
As thou art a man, give me the cup.
They grapple
Let
over the
go,
cup.
by heaven, I left. Oh, God.
It falls to the ground.
Horatio, what a wounded name, thing standing thus unknown, shall I leave behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Oh, I die! Horatio!
He cradles her in his arms.
The potent poison quite o'ercrows my spirit. The rest is silence.
She gasps. Head turns to the side, goes limp in Horatio's lap.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Oh, let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, and deaths put on by cunning and forced cause. In this upshot, purposes mistook, fallen on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver.
He kisses Hamlet's forehead, presses his head to hers. Lights dim. Ghost appears in the background, bathed in green light. The ghost strides forward slowly, regarding Gertrude, his wife, dead on the floor, and then surveying the scene as a whole.
When in disgrace, with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone do weave my outcast state and trouble death, heaven with
Horatio locks eyes on Ophelia as she enters from the opposite direction. Horatio clutches Hamlet tighter as Ophelia approaches. Polonius enters, staring at his son Laertes. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern follow, approaching the king and queen, Gertrude and Claudius. Horatio, mouth agape, scared and grieving. The ghosts sink to the floor, running their arms down those of their loved ones, grasping their hands and drawing them up to a standing position, cradling them as the newly dead lie limp across their shoulders in a half embrace, supported. The ghosts bring the hands of their loved ones up to their loved ones' eyes. As they lower them again, the newly dead are reawakened and see their loved ones anew. They greet each other. Ophelia and Hamlet circle around each other. Laertes and Polonius embrace. Hamlet and Ophelia dancing in a tight hug. Marcellus stumbles in, sees Horatio alone. They approach each other and hug out of necessity. The dead greet each other, embrace, sway. Hamlet and Ophelia in a bright light as the others form an arc around them, embracing each other around their waists and shoulders, hands outstretched. Slowly, Hamlet turns Ophelia, dancing with her. Hand in hand, they approach the arc of their loved ones, who reach out to them. They approach as the arc encircles them, and all heads bow.
For thy sweet love, remember such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state.
Fade to black. Lights fade up. The entire company bows together. They face each of the sides of the audience in turn and bow. Bowing again at center. All applaud for Hamlet, who takes a bow solo. The company exits, except for Hamlet, who hugs the ghost as he exits. Hamlet, alone on stage, takes a bow. She waves, smiles, and runs out.
Desiring this one's art and that
Credits.
one's go with what I most enjoy, contented lad. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my stay. Lie to the lark at break of day arising, from southern earth sings hymns